Right, I've built a thermostat for my diesel heater. These diesel heaters are brilliant, but the thermostats on them aren't very good. So in my workshop, when I'm running my heater, it's either too hot, I turn it off, then it gets cold, and I turn it back on again. And it's just a way of not having to do that. I've ran it for 2 weeks in the workshop. The longest I've ran it is 9 hours. I've had no issues. If I keep having no issues, I'm going to build one and put it in the van. The way it works is this ST1000, which I bought off eBay, which was £6. That triggers this timer, which is a HW516 version 3. Again, eBay, £6. And I've soldered the wires to either side of the on and off switch, or soldered if you're American. It works really well. Like I say, it's just going into a shutdown mode now because my room got up to temperature. I've got it set to 19 degrees, but I've got a difference of 1.5. The 1.5 degrees difference is very important. When that goes into the off mode, you can do what you like with it. Nothing will happen. It'll just stay in the off mode. The controller's frozen out. If you set your room to 19 and then you want it to come back on at 17 and you haven't got a difference, you're not going to allow this to sit idle for 5 minutes, because your shutdown process takes 5 minutes. Well, it does on this heater. Everybody's room's different. They're all insulated different. You'll have to play with the settings to get what's good for you. Like I say, I'm going to put one of these in my van if it keeps working. But if you copy what I've done and anything goes wrong, that's down to you. I'm taking no liability for it, because this is just to show you what I've done. STC1000 HW516 version 3 and a normal 12 volt relay out of a car. I'm going to put it all in the box, which I've started building, and I've got my power coming in to a bladed fuse of 5 amps. Really that should be 3 amps, but for some reason I can't find them. So it comes in from my 12 volt supply into the bladed relay, the bladed fuse, out the fuse into the switch, from the switch into a couple of rails I've made. Looks alright. The reason it's 2 boxes is because I had 2 boxes. Works really well. The way I've wired it is you've got your voltage in, your ground in. That's your power for the thermostat. But I've also daisy chained the 12 volts to number 5 and then daisy chained it to number 7. They're always live, but it doesn't matter until these relays kicked in. And then from number 6 and number 8, I've run them out to the timer board where they come into the signal here. Alright, I did buy 2, but you don't need 2. One's just enough. So you've got your 12 volt signal coming in from your thermostat and your ground. When I put it in the box, I'm going to put that ground over to the board's ground. You've got your live in, the board's ground, your live out and your ground out. They go to your relay like so. It's just a bog standard car relay. Comes with the wiring diagram on the sides. So I've used 30 and 87. They just complete the loop to the switch. And I've got 86 and 85. 86 is my live going into the coil, and 85 is my ground going into the coil. That's the way I've wired it, and it seems to be working. Very easy to set up. So basically it comes out the thermostat, triggers the relay, the timer. The timer triggers the relay, and the relay joins the two wires together, which are either side of the switch. The hardest thing about this is the soldering to the controller, or soldering to the controller, depending where you're from. This is easy to work. You've got your power button, settings button, up and down. If you press the up button, it tells you the temperature you've set it to, and if you press the down button, that's the difference. You have to have that difference, because like I say, these machines take 5 minutes to cool down, and if they don't cool down and go through the whole process, all this is pointless. It won't work. So you've got to mess about with the settings. To set it, press and hold the S button. You'll get F1. F1 is the temperature you've set it at to turn off. So to program it, press and hold the S button. Take your finger off. Right there. Take your finger off. Put it back on again. 19 degrees. Hold that button in. Hold that button in and press the up and down buttons, and then you'll get your temperature you want. Once you're finished, press the power button like that. That stores the settings. F2 is your difference. Same again. To set that, get to F2, take your finger off, put it back on again, keeping your finger on the S button, up and down to change it. When you finish, press the power button, store your settings. F3 is a timer. Oh, wait there, I'll do it again. F3 is your timer. That, as far as I can figure, what happens is when you get to 19 degrees, that won't go to the cooling process until it's gone for another minute. I'm going to change that to 3 minutes, because I know it'll get over 19 degrees, but it'll give my heat a chance to get to temperature and burn off any carbon and soot and stuff what's in the combustion chamber. And then when it gets down to 19 degrees, because you've got a difference, it won't come on again until 18.5 degrees. You might want to change that depending on your room, depending on your insulation. You might want to change that to whatever suits. You're going to have to play about with it. I'm still playing about with this. The F4, if you go into that, do the same again with it holding the button in. If you've got a thermometer, you can calibrate this to your thermometer. I'm not bothered, so I'm not going to do it. Your timer, so you've got your stop button, and it's off and on button, your settings button, your up and down button. If you hold that in, take your finger off, wait there. What you're looking for is a P something. P2. So you can scroll up, you've got different settings. P2 works fine. Once you're at P2, press set, take your finger off. This is the time your controller's basically sitting doing nothing for 5 seconds. Press set. You've got to have this at 5 seconds, because this is what's, when the relay kicks in, this is what's going to turn your switch on in your controller. Set that to 5 seconds, press set and hold it, and then take it off. P2, and it should go to zeros. That's it now programmed. As basic as it is, it works really well. The hardest bit is soldering in the wires either side of the switch. I have done a video which I will tag on at the end of this. We're sitting at 21.4 in here, which could be quite right. I'll just pause it. Right, I've just opened the door. I've got it set to 19 degrees, but got a difference set to 1.5, so that's the relay kicked in. Heater's off. Heater should turn on. 0.17 amps, and that's the heater kicking in again. Like I say, I'm going to put it all in a box. You don't have to. I've got a box there with a bladed fuse. Like, I can't stress enough, I've used a 5 amp. To be fair, a 3 amp would be better, because like you've seen, this draws no ampage. If you can get a lower one, put a lower one in. Always safe is better. I'm going to put one in the van. I'm going to put one in my workshop. I really like the way it works. Like I said, I've run it for 2 weeks. I've run it for 9 hours with no issues. I have noticed that I have used less fuel because it's not on all the time. Yeah, works really well, and I hope this helps. But like I say, it's down to you. If you copy this idea and God forbid anything goes wrong, I'm just showing you what I've done. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye. Right, to take off the cover, take the controller apart, just this plastic cover on the display, just stick a knife under it, blade or whatever, pull it out. Don't be scared to give it a bit of a tug, because all you do is pull the glue off. Once you got the plastic cover off, it's just these 4 screws, and then your display can come off apart, and then you can get to the PCB inside. Right, what we're going to do is we need to check to make sure this is the on and off button. That link there and that link there is where we're going to bridge it from the thermostat. So I'll just stick a wire on just to prove. This is what I want you to do as well, Caspers. And that's it, come on. And that's it, gone off. So that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to build it on mine, and then I'm going to test it, and then I'll run through all the other stuff with you in a bit. So I've done my soldering. Opposites. These are the 2 other ends of that wire. I'm going to touch it, and the controller activates. And then I'm going to touch it again, and it goes off, so I know that's good. However, this is the back plate for your PCB on your controller. You've got these grooves here. You've got to leave them. That's for the wires and the thermostat, or the remote control, one of the two, not 100% sure. We're going to make another little groove around about here. The easiest way to do it is get your soldering iron and basically decide where you're going to do it, and melt the hole, and then get a blade, chop that off, and carefully, I don't want no injuries. I know I should have a knife, but couldn't be asked to get off the seat. So now I've got another hole and not touch them. Right, got the board back in their casing, took the wires round, opposites remember, and all you're doing is going to basically, when you press that switch, it makes a connection. All you're doing is bypassing that little switch. and that wire will go to the relay. Tucked it under the board and out through the little hole I melted. Right, don't forget to put your little button covers over. Make sure that still works. Just make sure all the buttons are working, you've not damaged anything. And tuck the wires underneath the board. That's the wires in the board. You just got to screw that back down now. When you get your plastic cover back on, you might be tempted to stick down any edges and stuff with super glue. Not a very good idea, because the vapours from super glue could affect your display. Might not, but it could. I just smeared a bit of Sticks Like Shit on it, and I'm all good to get it all connected up now.